Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the FrostBytez Gaming Experience, part 21 of the Pokemon Emerald walkthrough. So this is basically going to be the second third of route number 119, because that's just how big route number 119 is. Now we are going to finish, again, we're going to be finishing exploring route number 119 in a sense, but it's only going to be 2/3 of it, because there's still parts of it we cannot access due to the fact that we still do not have the move Waterfall in order to access the last third of all of route number 119. Now, the last part of it doesn't really have a whole lot with it except for a couple hidden items, and that's really about it. But yeah, that's really all we're going to be doing on this part. And obviously we're going to be stopping Team Aqua from their vast dirty ways, of being a Team Rocket clone. That's really the only vile thing that I see going on here with Team Rocket and Team Aqua and Team Magma is that they're just, they're clones. But, it's kind of one of those, every single Pokemon game has to have one of those gangs that you gotta take out. And so, and at least, these guys have some ulterior I guess more interesting ulterior motives with it. Oh, we want to make the whole entire world land. No, we want to make the whole entire world sea. But I kind of just like Team Rocket's idea of we're just criminals. we're just using Pokemon for profit. We just like being a gang. And it's I don't know. I kind of like simplicity sometimes, but I do actually like the reasonings for what Team Aqua and Team Magma are doing. And I especially like it in the Pokemon Adventures manga because they really go further into it. And I know I've talked about it numerous times when playing these Pokemon games, but really, if you haven't read the Pokemon Adventures manga, I definitely give it a read because it is probably, in my opinion, it is the best, it's the best source of Pokemon outside the games themselves. And in some cases, they're even more appealing story-wise than playing the actual game. And seriously, just go ahead and give it a read. They do some really cool things, and a lot of them are things that I wish we could bring into the video game style of Pokemon, but I know that portion of it's never going to happen. And speaking of Pokemon, let's actually go into that, because even at this point, I still really haven't gotten a full chance to sit down and really watch E3 all that much. I've seen a couple things here and there, but my work schedule this past week has actually made it really tough for me to be able to keep up on everything that happened on E3. It just so happened that E3 happened the same weekend of the time that we were the busiest at work, and I had to work a bunch of extra hours and extra days. And so, because of that, I gotta wait a couple more days to actually sit down and watch E3. And originally what I was planning on doing, and I'll be explaining all this in the E3 video, because I still plan on doing a video for it. The original idea was for me to watch E3, take notes, and then, just go over those notes in a video. But because of how far behind I fell, due to being so busy at work, what I actually am going to do is I'm just going to turn on the conferences of E3 on YouTube and just give my live reactions right then and there. So that's kind of like the plan of it. And I'll probably be doing that in about a couple days, but that'll be uploaded either on a Saturday or a Sunday. It mostly just depends on how busy I'm going to be this upcoming work week, really. But I am planning on taking some time to just sit down, watch E3, and just record my reactions, kind of Twitch style, but then edit it for YouTube, because obviously there are some games that I really just don't care about, and there's no reason for me to talk about those particular games. I'll just skip on over those. But I have been looking into two specific games, or at least reading some behind the scenes stuff. Obviously one of those is the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot RPG game, which still looks a little bit too worrisome as Dragon Ball Z Saga's clone, with just a little bit added to it. But there are some really interesting things in there as well. I saw the 11-minute game demo thing that someone was playing on YouTube when they were talking with some of the creators. And some of it does look cool, albeit unnecessary in some cases. But at the end of the day, as long as it's a fun game, that's all that really matters. And it does look fun. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, I'm going to be buying it day one drop no matter what. But then I was also reading up on the Pokemon Sword and Shield about the newest controversy going on with it and how you cannot catch every single Pokemon in this game. And personally, I just think that people have been overreacting like crazy to this. Now, maybe it's just because I play Pokemon differently compared to other people, but man, when I read that, my initial thought was, okay, so I'll just catch whatever Pokemon that I can catch and just look to beat every trainer and then the Elite Four and the Champion and then call it good. But I guess for some people, you know, there's a lot when it comes to being able to catch every single Pokemon. And as you can tell with these videos I've been making, that's never really been a concern of mine. You know, I haven't even caught all 151 Pokemon on the original Pokemon's Red, Blue, or Yellow. Now, I'm currently working on it on my copy of Pokemon Blue, but I haven't done it yet because I just really don't care enough personally. Again, my goal is to beat the trainers, beat the Elite Four, and just make a team that I will enjoy using in the game. And then, yeah, completing the Pokedex comes a little bit later, but to me, that feels more like a chore than actual fun in some cases. So I never really cared about that anyways, and maybe that's why it doesn't affect me as much as it has obviously affected some people out there. Some people are in outrage. Some of them are even thinking about boycotting buying the game to protest it, which to me is ridiculous because we live in such an era of patches and DLC that don't you think that maybe sometime in the future they will make it to where you will be able to catch all Pokemon, that you're just not having it, you can catch all of them on initial release? Now, I'd be upset if the rest of the DLC patches and whatnot were, oh, if you pay $5, you can now get access to these 20 additional Pokemon. You know, that would piss me off beyond belief. But it still wouldn't hurt me that much because I really wouldn't care anyways personally. Again, I'm just looking to do what I can within the aspects of what the game can give me. That's all I really care about. But if it does end up where it's like, oh, you know, you can buy these Pokemon separately, then I could understand people's hatred towards it, because then Nintendo and was a Game Freak, they're just kind of going the route of EA basically, where it's like, oh, give us the monies for this. So taking a small little detour to that, I really tried getting Trapinch to beat this Mightyena because in the test play, I ended up getting lucky where I got hit with the swagger and then I digged and I was able to not get hit by my own confusion and was able to two-shot Mightyena. The first hit didn't fully take it out, but then snapped out of confusion for the second iteration it did, which I can't remember. I think it used Bite against me, but Trapinch is at a high enough level that it didn't really do a whole lot, so I was able to take it out. Not so lucky on this instance, a little bit sad on that. You know, I was like, Trapinch, this is your time, and he just hit himself in the face for a lot of damage. Swagger is quite the move. But yeah, again, I don't really care so much about that, and a lot of that, and I'll be talking more about this in the E3 video, but I know there are probably some people that really don't care about my opinion on what comes out on E3, and they probably only care about my opinion on the side of Pokemon Sword and Shield because, hey, you're here watching a Pokemon video, that's probably all you care about. So, and because we're finishing up route number 119, there's really nothing else more to talk about this, other than you probably saw that I had 50 of one type of berry. What was it called, like the Klepsy berry or something like that? There's a reason for that, but that won't be until, I want to say 2 videos, maybe 3 videos from now. Some people already probably know what it's about. It's for Phoebos, you know, it's to get the beauty up to the highest where I can get a Milotic off camera. That one patch right outside the berry dude's house. I looked up ahead of time to see, okay, you know, what kind of berries do I need in order to max out its beauty? And the best one, again, you had to beat the Elite Four first. Wasn't going to happen. But then there were 4 others, I believe, that I could also use to max out the beauty of it. And one of those was, I can't remember, again, I can't remember what it's called. I'm just going to call it the K-Berry, all right? The K-Berry was the only one that I had. And I was like, okay, well, if it's going to work, then it's going to work. So I went to the Berry Man's farm area and just planted all, I think I had like 7 at the time. I planted 7 of those, picked all of them, then planted all of them. which ended up giving me 50 of them. I wasn't anticipating to get that many, but, you know, hey, I'll take it. It works. Oh, excuse me. And we'll be using that to get ourselves a Milotic, but again, that won't be for about another, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 parts. It's still going to be a while because in Emerald, there's only one area where you can mix the berries into the Pokeblocks that you can utilize to up the coolness, toughness, beauty, all of those random aspects, which I'll be explaining more on when we actually get to that. Because we actually need to have, I think it's like a maxed out on all 5 different ones to get items from Slateport City. And I will potentially be looking to do that. Because one thing I did not know is that it can max out 2 separate ones. So when I was doing it with Phoebos for Milotic, it gave me a max on beauty, but also toughness. And so if I just find out, you know, the other berries that I could use to max out the other ones and just do it with my Pokemon because why not, then I can go back and showcase some of the items that you can get from Slateport City that I did not think I would be able to show off. And I would, next time we went there, I'd have to talk about, okay, here's how you get this, here's how you get that. Well, now I actually have the means of getting it. So, you know, we'll be discussing more about how that works when we hit to that video point. But that's why I got 50 of those berries, because it went a little bit overboard. I only needed 12 of them because you can only have 12 Pokeblocks on a particular Pokemon. But yeah, I think I ended up with like maybe 11. I was like, I'll just go ahead and plant all of them just in case, because I might need extras. Maybe I'll mess something up at some point in trying to make the Pokeblocks. So who knows? Maybe I do need all 50 of those. I doubt it though, because it's such an easy thing to do. But anyways, going back to Pokemon Sword and Shield, I think the biggest reason why I'm not so bothered with why I'm not able to catch all of the Pokemon is because, to me, I've never been able to catch the only Pokemon that I've ever wanted to catch early in the game anyways, minus Crystal, and that is my boy Sneasel. You know, in Pokemon Crystal, that was the only means of catching a Sneasel before hitting the Elite Four. Every other iteration of Pokemon that I have ever played, and again, this doesn't count Gen 6 and 7, getting a Sneasel was post-game. After you beat the Elite Four, then you can go and get yourself a Sneasel. And I don't think there's ever going to be a game where I would be able to catch a Sneasel. Well, for one thing, I don't think there's ever going to be a game that'll let me start with a Sneasel. I'm still waiting for a Pokemon game to do that, where you just get to pick your starting Pokemon. Like, whatever Pokemon you want to be, minus like a legendary or something really stupid overpowered. But even then, if you start with like a Dratini, you know, you're going to be stuck with that Dratini for a while, and it's not going to be the best Pokemon for quite some time. You know, at least until I learn Dragon Rage, like, what, level 20 or so, then it's actually pretty good. But even that's level 20, you know, so it would still take a relatively small while. Because I can't get my boy Sneasel in an early portion of the game, I've never really cared about trying to catch all of them, because the only one I've ever wanted to catch, I've never been able to catch anyways. And so then say Sneasel's not a Pokemon you can catch in Sword and Shield. Well, it's not like I was ever able to catch him when I wanted to beforehand, so why would I care now? And I know some of the counterpoint argument is, well, all you gotta do is capture one and then breed one and then just transfer that one that you bred into your new game and then do it that way. That's not fun to me. I want to actually catch it in the wild, you know? I want to beat the game with the tools that the game gives me. Not the tools that I then send over, you know? To me, that's like when I first played Borderlands. I didn't really like Borderlands at first. And the reason for that was because when I first played Borderlands, my friends that told me to buy it and then play it with them, they had already beaten the game. And the way that they wanted to play it with me was when we started up, they just hand gave me all the best weapons for my class. And even then it didn't matter, because I kind of saw them just running around and killing anything before I had the chance to do anything. And I was like, well, this game's boring. You know, like, how am I supposed to enjoy this? And to me, that's kind of like the same thing. You know, if I just go to a new game and then I just, transfer, you know, and I know it's different because it's like, I could start with a level 1 Sneasel. But again, that's me not utilizing what the game gives me to beat the game. That's me going out of my way to get something else to help me beat the game. And I know it's, you know, that's just the way I view it. Obviously, more people out there are going to view it completely differently in comparison. That's great. And it's not to dishearten those people that truly feel strong about, hey, you know, I want to be able to catch every single Pokemon out there. I think that's great, but for me, I've just never personally cared at all. So I'm still going to buy it when it drops. In fact, it's going to be the game that's going to make me get a Switch in the first place. You know, up to this point, I still do not own myself a Nintendo Switch because money is tight, and I can't really, you know, afford to get one at the moment. But I'm starting to hit a point now where it's like, well, I can actually go out of my butt, you know, because, like, you know, when it comes to, like, money spending, let's talk about, you know, some actual, like, budget and all that when it comes to in the middle of a Pokemon game, you know. You know, I've always got like a little side budget to get myself some things that, you know, I don't really need, but I do want. And one thing that I do want at some point is a Nintendo Switch. But there was other things that I wanted more. You know, at one point I wanted a PS3 or a PS4 in order to play Persona 5. And then later on I was like, okay, now I kind of want a PS4 to play Kingdom Hearts 3, so on and so forth. You guys kind of get the picture. You know, it was always like, what are my priorities? Well, right now, you know, for the longest time, Nintendo Switch is not my priority, because some of the games that I could play on the Nintendo Switch, I could play on my Wii U that I had, being Breath of the Wild. But the problem with that is that my current controller of the Wii U is completely busted. So I kind of had that also on my budget thing, where it's like, I need to save up, like, was it $100 in order to get a new screen, one of those little controller deals. But I haven't done that because other things have been on top, and I haven't really cared, you know. I got, you know, my friends have Nintendo Switches. I've been able to play Breath of the Wild on there. It's not something that I really needed all that much. But with Pokemon Sword and Shield coming out, it being a console Pokemon game, technically half console, half portable, since, you know, that's kind of the whole entire purpose of the Nintendo Switch. But really, because it's the first Pokemon game being brought on an actual console and not a handheld, that's something that I've been wanting to come out for a while now, and so that's why I'm a little bit more, okay, now I kind of want to get a Switch, because it's kind of getting me what I've been waiting for, and that is a console version Pokemon game. So, you know, I'll see how that goes. Now, technically, also, there was also Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Those, to me, didn't count, because it was just another redo of Gen 1 in a really different way that kind of felt Pokemon Let's Go-ish. I still kind of do want to play that game, though, because it seems very chill and relaxing, you know, and I kind of like just playing chill, relaxing games from time to time. There's a reason why I've got, what, almost like 700 to 1,000 hours on Civ 5, and now I've been playing Civ 6 Locked, because it's very calm and relaxing, and I can work on other things while playing it. Or during the football season, I can just watch football, and, you know, it's like, okay, I can do my turn on Civ, and then, okay, cool, we're done with that. Now let's see what's going on in football. Okay, there's a break. Oh, hey, look, you know, I got the next turn that I can do, you know. So I've been liking, you know, very calm, casual style games lately. Things I can just kick back and relax to. So that means that eventually I will be going on my way to do Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. But anyways, we're going to call it a part right there, ladies and gentlemen. So I do hope you enjoy the rest of your evenings, and we will catch you all in the next part.